Hey everyone, Mike Jarman here. Just finishing up a short hike on the face of Mount Olympus, Salt Lake Valley, after a pretty cool snowstorm. And I thought this would be a cool opportunity to talk about some of the stuff that makes Utah such a special place, but also some of the stuff that makes Utah a very rough place for its 3.2 million full-time residents, as well as its hundreds of thousands of seasonal residents and visitors. Some of the stuff that is just really heavy, I'm going to try and de-heavify it for you here with some solutions and some suggestions. First, whether you're here on the Wasatch Front, the Wasatch Back, Park City, the Uintas, the Caribbean of the West at Bear Lake to the north, Lake Powell to the south, Zions, Arches, Moab, Bryce Canyon, the West Desert, the Salt Flats, it doesn't get any better than this. There is so much cool stuff here. Now, some of the rough stuff is that in Utah, there are systems and organizations that have been in place going all the way back to 1932. They are broken in horrific ways, and they are managed and operated by horrifically broken people. An example of this is an organization known as the Utah State Bar. Now, if you've heard of the Utah State Bar, you might believe it is an office of the state of Utah responsible for supervising Utah's attorneys. Well, that's not exactly true. Utah State Bar is actually a private organization. It's actually a private corporation. It's not an office of the state of Utah, and it's actually funded by its members. And because of that, it doesn't supervise all of its members the same way. About 5 years ago, I identified a couple traps that crooked members of Utah State Bar use to target thousands upon thousands of Utahns from all walks of life and pile up one fortune after another every year. I posted that on a blog, and since then I've had different victims reach out to me with their own horror stories, and now I've identified more than 9 traps that crooked Utah State Bar members use. And people are committing suicide over this. The horrors and tragedies stretch into every community, and it overwhelms law enforcement in so many ways. I have personally delivered letters to the state capitol, whether it was when Governor Gary Herbert was there or Spencer Cox, Attorney General Sean Reyes. I've emailed every member of the Utah State Legislature, and no one wants to talk about this for a lot of reasons. It might have to do with the thousands of members of Utah State Bar piling up fortunes off these loopholes. Because of that, there is a solution, and that is creating a new State Bar Association and not allowing the crooked members of the current Utah State Bar to join, whether they're attorneys, commissioners, or judges. And that way the crooked ones will weed themselves out. To do that, we are going to need the help of the Utah State Legislature, but since the legislature turns over every 4 years and half of it turns over every 2 years, it's also more of just a figurehead organization. So it seems the best thing to do is to probably just make me governor of Utah, I guess. Silly hat and all. But don't worry, I've got a suit. I actually look pretty good in a suit. I won't wear the hat to meetings. But it seems like that's probably the way to do it, is to get me in there, show the legislature what is going on, what needs to be done, and make sure it happens. Will I be a good governor for 20 years? I don't know. There's a lot of projects I want to get after in and outside of Utah. But 4 years probably ought to be enough to get in there, straighten this out, get the new Utah State Bar created, get the crooked ones to weed themselves out, and to really give Utah and its full-time residents, part-time residents, and guests what they really deserve. There's a few other things we could probably do. That includes more transparency. Over the last few years, we've had thousands of millions of dollars go missing or unaccounted for under the illusions of the new state prison or the airport without any explanation or rational audit, and especially when compared to other projects in other states that went on during the same time. There's also some rough stuff that we can get after regarding those broken people. Now, that's not just in Utah's organizations, it's everywhere in every community. It comes from some of the cultural challenges we face, and there are physical and emotional challenges that are overwhelming every community in Utah. So a way to approach this that is also coming together is something I call the herdimmunity.org, with herd being spelled H-E-A-R-D, like herd. And that is pointing out a 5-step cycle that brings everyone up to speed on knowledge about how some of these physical and emotional challenges happen, how that contributes to worse stuff, and how knowing about it and talking about it, we really can create the herd immunity to things like suicide, depression, and so many other things that affect Utahns, especially the children. So other than that, I'll try and get some links to help people find some of this information easier, as well as some contact for those who want to get involved either way. I know there are many hundreds of attorneys who are ready for a new Utah State Bar. I think once we get all the reports in about the crooked members, we'll have over 1,000 names of crooked members who won't be allowed to join, as well as when it comes to the herdimmunity.org. If you want to get involved with that, let me know. There's so much to do, so much cool stuff. So other than that, I don't know. I'm just going to end this, maybe with the wolf hat. Maybe our war cry needs to be a wolf howl. And since I'm here on this perch at Mount Olympus, maybe I'll just end with that. So let's keep that wolf howl going. It means change, it means healing, it means great things for the new Utah and all of us. So thanks for watching. You made it to the end of the video. Congratulations. Woohoo!